Hello everyone, Nubkex here, coming to you from a hotel room. It's time for Budget Nub gives a news update. We're still doing some news updates with even worse production value than normal. I hope you guys don't mind. It's a bit of fun. Yeah, let's dive in. So we do have a couple of news events to cover here for this video. So the first one, if we jump into the summon pool and we move me out of the way, we do have a summon pool event for the Knight's Revenant right now. So a fairly standard 40 crystals to summon, 6% legendary, 94% epic. But as we can see, Losan K'Leth is the headline champ. This one to me, I'll be honest. Oh, look, I am now Losan K'Leth, guys. Where's the camera? There it is. Look at the camera. I am Losan K'Leth. Hello. I'll be honest, I am not 100% sold on it. Let me know. I feel like this is controversial. Obviously this is I think you can get one free fragment. Let me just double check that. I don't have access to Plarium Play because I don't have access to a PC for a few days. So let me know if there's other events. There's certainly the Sand Devil turn attack. I think if you can get this, you know, you're later in the game and it's fairly comfortable to get this. Perhaps if you're skipping the fusion, I think getting the free fragments here is absolutely worth it. I think it's absolutely worth getting the free fragments for Losan K'Leth. Is this an event I would spend money for? I don't know. I'll be honest, for me, I was very, very hyped up for this champion. Like, his A2 is completely bonkers. It has been nerfed. This used to boost his turn meter. He now, when he casts this move, he ends his turn with 0% turn meter. He cannot push up his own, which is a nerf. They said it was not a nerf, but that's a nerf. I don't know. Is this controversial? You made him worse. He's still really good, but you made him worse. It's a nerf. Anyway. But yeah, he is a good champion. There's no question he is good. He hasn't lived up to that level of hype for me, where let's say with Teox, very quickly there's a bunch of teams in a bunch of different areas where, I have seen Teox absolutely crush it. Volcanos, the demon spawn faction unity, I have seen him multiple times in arena, absolutely crushing it. I've not seen that happen yet with Losan K'Leth. Now, maybe we'll see that more after this event and more people will have him. But for me at the moment, I'm not opposed to buying a few shards for these sort of prism things every now and then. I can't remember the last time I did it. I don't know if I've ever done it. I think I did it once for like a video. I don't know if I've ever done it for real. But I would also be expecting there'll probably be one for the Queen of Hearts. There will probably be one for the Dwarf faction unity, who's also come out recently. I'm probably more interested in both of those over going for Losan. So I don't know. I'll definitely get the free ones, but I think this event is a bit tricky. One thing as well, probably wait to actually pull your prisms. You only have what you can see, the 3 days, 22 hours to buy them, but you've got 4 days, 22 hours to pull them. I would save them for this weekend. It's going to be a champion chase tournament, which will be part of the fusion. And even if you're not going for the fusion, you'll pick up some rewards along the way. So it's best to pull your prisms at the end of the week. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at. I've only mentioned him for the other legendaries. Theodore is amazing. I don't have him. I'd love to get him. Calvalax is okay. Ancora is really good. And then Giath is, I'm not a huge fan of her. I think some of you guys in the comments quite like her. I'm not a big fan of her personally. I would really like a Theodore. So yeah, I mean, any of that. For the epics, I think the epics are quite mixed. Rector Drath is very good, but most people have her from like a promo code. Sinacia is great. Doom Priest is great. They're very useful progression champs. I say even Miscreated Monster is a decent progression champ. And then the rest, honestly, are a bit Sepulchre Sentinel is okay. But I don't think she's really as good as I think that's what I've seen a few people in the free-to-play challenge discussing, that she's not as good as really she used to be. Thalasia is also pretty decent. The rest are sort of like okay. Aishma, I think, is part of the Mikage fusion, so there is that. But you've got quite a mix of epics. It's very 50-50, I feel like, in terms of are you getting something decent or something that's pretty much pure trash. Yeah, sort of. So this one is okay, but I'm not too hyped up about it, but it's, you know, maybe good. Maybe you really like Losan, you're going for it. Now, the bigger, more controversial, perhaps, event is the Brave Deck of Fate. We've got a Deck of Fate starting tomorrow, so sort of as predicted, we've got a Deck of Fate. It is for the Knave of Hearts. I feel like he is probably the least hyped up unit out of the Alice ones. You can get a guaranteed one from the Deck of Fate. Now, I believe the last time they did one of these was for Freya, and people were very angry. I was not there. I was away on holiday in Japan at the time. I did pull for Freya. I thought she was absolutely worth it, and I've got zero regrets. But it was very expensive. I didn't, in terms of resources, it cost me. I got a bunch of comments at the time, or certainly one comment at the time, which was very funny, which was like, yeah, no, I bet the Freya Deck of Fate was more expensive than your trip to Japan. And I was like, well, the trip to Japan, you know, we had to prepare and save for a long time. That cost thousands of euros. It's very expensive. Freya cost me literally €0. It was just saving resources. So no, not really. But people really, really, really dislike the Freya Deck of Fate. And this one's going to be very similar. If I bring up the news, it's going to be a Soulstone one, which means it's very tough. And really only open free to play for late game, not even late game, I would say end game players. Souls from Soulstones and Dungeon Divers. This is very much an end game free to play. If you're not end game, you can't do it for free. Simple as that. You really need to be clearing, if it wants to open up here, the Cursed City. Yes, I've not done much because, again, I'm on holiday. You need to be clearing this stage, the Fire Knight stage. That gives you effectively an Eternal Soulstone every rotation of the Cursed City. So every month you're getting an Eternal. So the Freya one was in October, so you've had November, December, January, February. You've got at least 4, maybe 5 Eternal Soulstones. Between these, if you are free to play endgame and you've saved them, that's just from the Eternal City, and I'm not counting the other Soulstones you can get from the Eternal City, and then obviously you're grinding and so I have been, again, fairly patient with the 2x events. I've got 15 Immortals. You can see I have enough for 2 Eternals, but I've been spending the rest. And that is a question for me. Was Freya worth an end game? Was it worth, again, $0 spent? I've got to reiterate this because it's not clear otherwise, apparently. $0 spent. Is it worth, was it worth going for Freya? In my opinion, yes, 100%. She's been brilliant. Would I do the same for the Knave of Hearts? For me, it would be a no. I don't think he's worth it because, again, that free-to-play opportunity cost, it's an opportunity cost. Let's say you are clearing that Cursed City, you have all those soul stones, you could do the event. The cost is you've got to buy soul stones, which means you're not buying the red essence, and that's what you're giving up. You get the Knave of Hearts, but it means that, you know, you're going to be 1, maybe even 2 champions behind in terms of upgrading them from 5-star to 6-star, which is a huge upgrade, a massive chunk of speed. A bunch of blessings don't really work at 5-star. They have to be 6-star. Is that good design? No, but there you go. That's how it is. That's the reality. So you're giving up on some of that, right? You could have a 6-star whatever instead, a couple of champs perhaps. I don't know. Someone could work out exactly how much it costs, but it's a fairly substantial opportunity cost. I think Freya has been absolutely worth it for me to give up a couple of 6-star champs perhaps, or at least 1 6-star and leave them at 5-star instead. I thought that was very much worth it. I don't think Knave of Hearts would be really worth it. I think he's cool. He reminds me of a lot of Ultimate Death Knight. Just sort of tanky, taunt buff. The AoE stealing 2 buffs is decent. He's got a bit of provoke. Yeah, he seems okay. What are the reviews? Yeah, he's good for Phantom Shogun, but Phantom Shogun is pretty easy, I would say, since they nerfed it. Though they could bring out a hard mode at some point. And he's like, okay, everywhere else. For me, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by this. My inclination, we'll see how expensive it is. The Freya one was notoriously expensive in terms of they really nerfed how many points you got from your soul stones. Will it be the same here? I don't know. And by the way, I'm not condoning the Freya stuff. I mean, again, unless I explicitly condemn it, people will say, Nub, you're endorsing it. No, the joys of YouTube. But no, my inclination would be, this to me feels like it's probably a skip. I mean, I'll see if it's super, super cheap and affordable. If I've got enough soul stones, heck, I might go for it, but I don't expect I probably will. And I don't know. So yeah, and then if you're thinking about it in terms of real life money and should I spend on it, look, that's your own decision. You make up your own mind. Personally, I wouldn't be too pushed for him either. I feel like like I said, I feel like there'd be a Queen of Hearts Prism event, and that to me is more interesting to spend on. if I were to spend, and I might, I don't know. Sort of my approach with the prisms is very much like, I'll wait until there's something really good for me to spend on, then I'll consider it. And then often by the time it comes around, I'm like, I've thought about this, and actually, you know what? I'm actually cool just not. And then I just don't spend on it. That's usually my approach most of the time. But there we go. So that's sort of what's happening with all of this. So you can get a guaranteed Knave of Hearts. I think it's unlikely that they'll do guaranteed events for any of the other champions as part of this. I think that's going to be it. Though, like I said, I think we are still due a Prism event for the Queen of Hearts. Though, expect it to be, I think the Odin one for Asgard was more expensive. I think it might have been 45 or 50 Prisms to pull. So it was more expensive because they are a more premium champion. But the Knave of Hearts, he is up. Yeah, for me, I don't know. Again, I'm not super sold on this guy being... I think if you pulled him in your early, mid game, even late game, he could be quite helpful. But I'm not sold on him as being a chase champion, to be honest. He's cool. He's very cool. But I wouldn't mind pulling him, but I don't think I'm going to be chasing him, needless to say. I think I might just buy some red essence, get some souls. That's sort of my vibe. So there you are. That's the news. Yeah, I don't think there's probably going to be much other news this week. It's just the fusion is going because I'm away. I actually did go all out. I got a Michinaki. I didn't even bother recording it because I was in the airport. And it's just like, you know what? I'll just pull some shards in the airport. Just get it done. And I finished it. There you go. I got all the fragments from this simply because I was like, I'm away for a few days. I might mess up and miss a few events and be kind of screwed. So I said, I'm just going to get the extra fragments. And then if I miss stuff, I don't have to worry. I guess I could have just bought the fragments at the end. They often sell you those. Whatever. I got another Michinaki. I've got 3 Michinakis now. Cool, I guess. That's it from me. Let me know what you think of these events. Are you going to be doing any of them? I'll definitely get my free prisms. We'll pull them at the weekend. For Losan K'Leth, we'll see if we can get him. That'll be fun. But yeah, we'll see. 1 free prism. Will we get anything? I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.